Welcome to Paranormal 411, coming to you from an undisclosed location deep within the Appalachian Mountains, with your hosts David Reagan and Jason Scott, bringing you the unknown. You're listening to Paranormal 411.
All right, everybody.
All right, welcome.
Welcome to the show. We are live on Spreaker, Podbean, Facebook, and YouTube, right?
Yes.
We got a special in-house guest, Mr. Roger.
Hey, guys.
Roger Bob.
What's up, Roger?
Same old.
We got a fun little show tonight, I think, don't we, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
And Roger's got a lot of experience in this, so this is going to be kind of fun. He has some stories.
He sees dead people.
Yes.
Order shadows.
Yeah. We have a book out. You can find it on Amazon. All you have to do is search for East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. It is a great little coffee table book. It's East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're looking to find us, you can do that at paranormal411.org, Paranormal 411 on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. We're also on Saturday nights at 10 p.m. That's right. That's tonight on WDJYFM.com. You can also go to our website, paranormal411.org. Right there on the front page, you can click that link and it takes you straight to the player. And you can listen to us on WDJY at 10 p.m. on Saturdays. We are also on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Join us.
I think they've been playing us at 10 and 11.
Yeah, they've been playing us twice. Yeah, they've been doing the 10 to 11 and then 11 to 12. So
12. So if you ain't got nothing to do tonight,
you ain't got nothing to do. You're listening to us, so just go ahead and
that's the station to play is at 333, man. Come on.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get this pulled up here.
So remember Legends and Lore Pizzeria in Madisonville, Tennessee.
Yes.
Go see Eddie and Susan and the crew for some great food and great pictures on the wall.
Oh yeah, some good stories too. Ask him to tell you about the shop there. It's actually haunted.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. And I want to thank Catalyst East Tennessee. They do all the music. All the music we do is them. Jason's saying I'm too far away from him.
I'm covering you up with the stuff.
Yeah, the music by Catalyst. David's bass in it.
Yeah, look at that. Music by Catalyst.
I covered you up.
What are we talking about tonight, Jason?
We're going to be talking about the types of shadow people, and maybe how to protect from them. And we're going to listen to Roger tell some of his experiences. Ain't that right, Roger Bob?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just walked in the room and all of a sudden I got bombarded. Okay, it's
So, getting all our information from psychokinesispowers.com, right?
Wait. No, I ain't got them. I tried to lift something just now, but it didn't work.
So have you ever seen a shadow of someone, or have you felt a sensation of someone standing behind you? And when you try to see it clearly, it disappears.
Mm-hmm.
If so, then you might have seen a shadow person.
Mm-hmm. My wife's seen shadow people.
Well, I did when I was younger, but I don't know what.
It was a shadow people.
Just a dream.
No, it was a shadow people. That's a good story too.
It is. I'll tell it later for those of you that hasn't heard it before.
That's right. And if you have, he's going to tell it again.
Jason twice.
Hey, they've heard my stories on some things like 500 times.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever had an experience with somebody else there?
What do you mean?
I had experience. Me and Chris, we were standing talking one time, and but behind I was facing Chris. Behind Chris was a door, and there's a window next to the door. And I thought I seen a friend of ours fixing to come to the door and knock on the door. And through the door came this black mist. It looked like someone with a sheet over them, the bride type deal, like got the veil with the top of her head, down her shoulders, and it went out into it like a dress. Like it floated right up to Chris. Chris turned to look at it. As soon as he turned his head to it, it disappeared. Me and him both at the same time said, "Did you see that?"
Right. Right. I've seen spirits most of my life, but they look like people. They're not see through. They're not anything like that. Like that little girl up at the house, Jason, up on Summer
Oh,
Street.
yeah.
I saw her. She's just as real could be when she walked out of the room, turned and looked at me. And I just kind of looked at her and turned around and started watching TV. And I was like, wait a second. And I turned back around and she was gone, It was Easter night and she had this big old huge green Easter dress on. She looked like she was about 9-10 years old or so. Yep.
Wow.
And that goes with the photo of that little girl that we caught there too.
Yes,
And the
that's a
EVP.
creepy photo.
And the EVP. It's in the book, everybody.
Yeah, it's in the book.
Yeah.
Go get the book, and you'll see that photo of that creepy girl.
Join them.
Join us.
So while everybody's telling their stories of chateaus and things, I had one when I was maybe 7, 8, somewhere around in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the bed, and the bed was, I was facing the outside wall, and there was my door and then a hall. So I'm laying there, and I'm looking like at the door, and I could see, from the door face to the bathroom. And there was a shadow of a man in a hat flipping a coin that looked like a cartoon that I had seen, Bugsy on Bugs Bunny, where he's flipping that coins.
Yeah.
See?
See?
That is what this looked like. And I don't know if it was just me or if it was actually a shadow person, but my head went under the cover, and that's all I know.
I've had enough. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. So, Roger, tell us some more. Tell us.
Well, it's kind of like here, David, a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
It was during the show. It just hit me what happened. And then after the show, I called David. I said, David, remember that time when we were younger, way younger, and we played with a Ouija board sitting on my floor.
Yes.
I said, I see shadow people in my house, but I said they always walk to us. Well, not walk, but one kind of jumps my couch into the floor and it just disappear. I sometimes think it's like some kind of animal. Maybe I got a rat in my house. So look, whoa, hey, got a rat in the house, but it's not in the floor. And I told David, I said, that's the same spot that we had the Ouija board sitting in the floor. And David said, yeah, we never did close that out.
Yeah, we didn't. We didn't close that out. And maybe we need to do that sometime.
Hey, I tell you what, come to the house and I'll let you see it.
Yeah. That'd be a pretty good thing for us to film, maybe, Jason.
Oh, yeah. How big is this entity?
I saw the cat.
Maybe a cat.
I don't have any cats in the house.
A dead cat.
A dead cat. What could it be? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because people do see shadow animals.
I mean, it like I see it starting on my couch, on the cushion, and it'll jump from the cushion onto the floor.
Mm-hmm.
It looks just like it looks about like a cat or something.
Have you ever had any animals that passed on?
Yeah, I had a couple of dogs. One of them even died, probably in the same spot.
Oh my Lord. That might be your little furry friend.
Might have been. Oh, Nightshade.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Now that's interesting.
It is.
We're getting deep now.
Maybe we can go over there and film it.
I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah. So, what are shadow figures or shadow people? I don't know. Was that the word that was coined by that lady? People or
Shadow people. Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
But all cultures over the world has some sort.
They do.
Of a shadow person.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And though Hag and Hat Man is just about too basic over the world.
Right. Yeah.
So, do you see them out of the corner of your eye, or is it?
I see them in the corner of my eye. Yeah.
Yeah, most everybody. That's how they see them.
Yeah.
And if you like you try to look straight at it, it'll disappear.
Yeah. Eyes outside right here, right here in the bunker outside. One went from a tree down the driveway there. I was talking to David. I said, David's going like, what? I go, did you see that?
Some religious people or organizations think that they're demons.
It could be.
But, I don't think shadow people are really bad.
Yeah. Necessarily. I mean, we had what's his name, Mike Ricksecker on.
Yes.
The first time we ever had him on, and it was talking about his book, Walk in the Shadows, and it's about shadow people. And he had a really interesting experience as a kid. He woke up, but he was kind of had that sleep paralysis going on, I guess. And it was a shadow person. And do you remember if it was a hat man or if it was just a shadow person?
I think it was just shadow
Yeah.
person.
But it walked up to him, almost acting like he was dead, and placed his arms like this over his body. And he finally was able to and the thing went down the hallway and was gone. Almost ran from him. But he said that he didn't get a feeling of it being malevolent or
I don't either. Like I said, I sit in the house and I see them. I mean, it's like it's an old friend coming by.
right.
Yeah, I believe the stories that people see, like the Slender Man, I think it's made up. Slender Man, I mean, just to make it evil.
Slender Man was a made up thing. It's one of the internet. Little stories they got Slender Man, they got Ice Cream Man, whatever it is.
The thing that's funny about that Slender Man and stuff, though, is that I think it's a great case of manifestation because there was so much attention put on that story, and so many people started kind of believing that this was a possibility that a lot of people actually started having sightings of the Slender Man.
Right.
And, I watched a show one time. One of these days, I'm going to have to find the show again, but it was on Discovery Plus or something like that. And it's one of the paranormal shows. But this man and woman, before they went into this haunted house, this house that was supposedly haunted, they made up like it's this woman. She's going to, tap and she's going to do these certain things. And they made up this whole story about what was going to happen when they got there. And they kind of thought about it for like a day or so and meditated on it, on everything that was going to happen. When they got there and started doing the investigation, it all happened exactly that way.
Mm.
And they come to the conclusion that, some of this stuff, you could believe it in it so much that you actually manifest those things in those locations.
Right. I mean, I've seen one where this guy was going to do the same test. He took this group of people to these woods.
Mm-hmm.
And as they were standing in the woods, he's going like, "Do you hear anything?" People, "No, we don't hear nothing." Then he himself going like, "Hey, did you hear that?" And then a minute later, somebody, "Hey, I heard that." And then you see that? A minute later, somebody says, "Hey, I seen something over in the corner." Yeah. And it's what you call like a mass psychosis.
Yeah. Yeah. But this one was cool because it was before they even went to the location. And these two, laid this out. It was a woman. Her name was going to be this. She was going to, um, do some knocks. They're going to get some EVPs. She's going to answer some questions, just a bunch of different things. And that's exactly how it happened throughout the night, exactly how they laid it out. And they really believe that sometimes you could go into these locations and they may not even be haunted.
Right.
But you can manifest that haunting in that location because of your beliefs that, oh, this is haunted and we're going to find something here. And maybe there wasn't something there, but you manifested something there, whether it's for good or bad. But I think that we can manifest some of those things. I think it's a possibility. Now, I'm not saying that there's no such thing as hauntings either,
Right.
or shadow people or any of this other stuff. But I think that we can believe something so much that we bring it into reality.
Hmm.
Colin Graves asks, what are we talking about tonight? We are talking about
Shadow people.
Shadow people tonight. Joseph Bryant says, I bet everyone here has a good story. Yes, we'd like to hear your stories. If you want to post them in the chat room, you can, and let us know in the chat room if you want to call in and tell it. We'll open up the phone lines.
Oh yeah,
we haven't opened the phone lines in a while, so let us know if you want to call in, and we'll open up the phone lines for you because I think this is a pretty cool topic.
It is.
I know we cut you off, Jason.
No. You're doing good. So let's look at the types of shadow people or shadow shape people. I don't know.
Shadow entities.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
So the first one would be the human shaped.
Mm-hmm.
So these shadow people are in human shaped and most commonly experienced by many. A human shaped shadow person comes in a variety of combinations, such as with or without a hat, having red or green eyes. Have you ever seen any red or green eyes, Roger?
No.
I haven't either. I
neither.
know my wife had a really profound Hat Man story. She woke up with one standing over top of her. And she said it scared the beep out of her.
So why would you say that most of these shadow entities are male? They look male, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you really don't hear a lot of them.
I don't know. I mean, Chris, because I think the number one would be the hag, because she's always coming in and sitting on your chest, strangle you, smothering you, whatever it may be. The Hat Man, I think he just stands off gazing at you.
Yeah, a lot of people will even say that they'll wake up and he'll be almost like over the bed, just staring down at you and stuff like that. The old hag, now that's something that's comes all the way down from Jewish mythology and everything, even. And they used to say that in Jewish mysticism, they had spells and stuff that they could cast to try to get away from that, because they were saying that she was there to try to procreate, to create more demons, and stuff like that. So, yeah. And if you notice, it's, she is pretty much almost the same thing as a succubus.
That's what I was ready to say. Years ago, well, hundreds of years ago, there was a succubus and an incubus.
Yep. Incubus and succubus. Yep. Yeah. The male and the female.
Right. And they were there to, well, whenever you had a wet dream, put it that way.
Right.
And then you wake up going like, hey, this demon sitting on top of me.
That's it.
What's going on? Yeah.
I didn't do this, honey. Don't go throwing me out.
How dare you cheating on me?
Colin says, "What's up, Raj?"
Hey, Colin.
So then we got the ones Roger has seen, which I think he's seen, animal shaped figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I never really categorized them. I kind of thought like, okay, this and this and this and this. I always thought them were all the same thing. But yeah, I would say, yeah, probably so. That could be a cat or something like it, like a 4-legged animal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense, especially because the way you describe it, it's animal-like in behavior and stuff.
Stays close to the ground.
Right.
Sometimes jumps over your couch and all that stuff. And yeah.
Shadow cats are the most common.
You got a shadow kitty cat.
Yeah, I got a kitty.
Could be a shadow rat, a bird, or a spider.
Don't tell you that.
Have you killed a spider in the floor there?
Don't let my wife hear you talk about spiders. Should burn the house down. My house ever gets burnt down, Jason? That's why. Because she saw a spider.
I had one in the bathroom yesterday. Oh man. Made me think twice. It was ugly.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I don't mind the fuzzy ones, but the ones like a brown recluse.
Yeah.
Kind of like real meaty looking, bald. Well, them right there.
That's hilarious.
Let's do it one night. We'll set up some cameras right there on that floor, on my couch.
Right. Now, the next one we have is a black mist or black mass shadow people. And those are the ones a lot of people will see, like, especially like you see kind of sometimes out of the corner. They're usually out of the corner of your eye. You'll sit there and most of these, shadow people are usually tend to be, especially if it's in a dark room, somehow darker than the dark room.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And they tend to be in your periphery. So right in there for some reasons where everybody always sees them. And if they notice that you see them, they're gone.
Right. Yeah.
And they're gone. Now these black mist shadow people are less than human form. And generally appear as clouds of black smoke. They could also be seen as a dark mist with a blurred vision, which is usually right in the periphery. And they can change shapes and, like we just talked about, move really fast because that's usually what happens. It seems like they realize you see them, and when you start to turn, they're gone.
And they go into a direction that will hide them.
Yes, yeah, somewhere that's a dark corner or something like that. Right. Yeah.
You
ever seen one go through something like a wall? Or
I have a story that
well, the one that I said was me and Chris. It came through the locked door. I mean, I sat there and watched it the door is good 20 foot away.
Right.
And I seen it come through the door and more or less float right next to Chris. I mean, no more than a foot away from his shoulder.
Wow.
And like I said, he turned to look at it. I mean, he thought it, me and him both later on said we thought it was Corey, one of our friends. And he goes, I thought Corey was standing next to me. He said, I was going to look and say hi to Corey. He said, I turned and looked at a black mass there for a split second, and then it was gone. I'm like, yeah.
I have a story that I've only told my wife. She's the only person I've told this story to.
Should we be hearing this?
Well, it's not. It ain't TMI. So no. I'm a long haul truck driver, and so this has been a few months back. I had to go all the way to California So I come back to Reno because I was on I-80, delivered in Northern California, come back and was able to get back as far as Reno. And that's where I stopped for, for the night for my 10-hour break. So I go inside and go to take my shower. So I go into my shower, close and lock the door, and hang up my bag, get all my stuff ready to take a shower, turn on the shower, close the shower door. And it's one of those, that are smoked glass,
Frosted.
Yeah. And so I'm sitting there taking my shower and I watch this black figure. It started out as a black figure, but by the time it came through the door, just like the door wasn't even there, it just walked right through my door, come all the way up to where my shadow, where the door is on my shadow or on my shower, and it come right up. But as it got closer, it went from being this black mass to a person, like a person.
Hmm.
And I was sitting there second guessing that I just watched someone come in, and I was like, what? And it come up to where my shower was, turned, and then went through the wall. And I sat there for like 5 minutes. I got out of the shower. I like testing the door, and I was like, I know the door didn't open. But yeah, that happened to me just a few months ago. And I meant to talk to the people that clean the bathrooms and stuff to see if they've, ever seen anything. But I was just like, I don't want to seem like a weirdo and start asking these guys questions about seeing ghosts,
Well, there's a lot of stories about truck stops, truckers going in and dying,
Yeah.
on the
Oh, yeah.
toilet,
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah. Having heart attacks, massive heart attack. Some of them even, they'll find 2 weeks later dead in their truck of heart attacks.
Right where I work, there's a truck set in the parking lot almost a week. And the guy's wife was calling in like, okay, like, my wife, my husband's been gone for a while. And they checked his truck, his GPS, and it was, of course, in our parking lot. So the local police came and opened up the door, and there he was dead.
Hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's bad.
Yep.
But yeah, that was a pretty crazy thing that happened to me on the road. Like I said, I've seen ghosts my whole life, but when you're taking a shower, it's
Mhm.
it's not it's not the place to come in here. Come on now. You ever heard of personal space?
Casper, I know you're friendly, but I ain't that friendly.
Right. Do not open that door, please. Colin says that he believes in ghosts and has been to a lot of haunted places.
Oh yeah.
I believe in ghosts. Jason believes in ghosts. Jason went to my house that was haunted.
Yeah.
So we have another type of shadow people too. They're forest shadow people. So a forest shadow figure appears outdoors, unlike other shadows that appear, inside. Now these figures are called shadow stalkers. That's what a lot of people can, nickname them, I guess. They hang around trees. Now they are said to be harmless and act as protectors that guard nature. These usually mimic people who see them. You was talking about this a little bit ago, right? They kind of almost like a doppelganger type thing.
Yeah.
Um, and so as that means like when the person moves, they move with them, and they stop when the other person stops and stuff like that. So
I think, where was it at? Like in Kentucky or something. They call it the black. It's just a shadow, but it looks just exactly like the person that's seeing it, that's looking at it.
right. Well, they talk about this thing, being kind of a guard of nature. We've had several psychics on the show throughout the years, and they talk about elementals and fairies and the fae and all that stuff. And I think they do a lot of the same stuff. So maybe this is a form that they're letting people see them as to keep people out of the forest or something, maybe. Um,
I have heard stories where people are in the woods and they hear whispering.
mhm.
and then they may look between trees and see a shadow person, and they kind of feel fear and dread at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I even heard them where they said that they took off running and where they couldn't run anymore, and still the shadow person or people, more than one, or there, then you hear the whisper, like they're talking back and forth with one another.
That sounds like some Skinwalker Ranch stuff right there.
Yeah.
Joseph asked if you feel vulnerable in the shower. I definitely did, because it's weird. You're sitting there taking a shower and you don't expect to see something like that. And I don't know, with what I've been able to see my whole life, I've been able to see ghosts my whole life ever since I was a little kid. I've always seen them. I guess I you know, shouldn't take it as, oh, well, what's this? Because I should be used to it by now. But I don't think I've ever had that happen to me in the shower before, ever. And, but it was indifferent. It was like, it wasn't, trying to interact with me or anything. It just kind of come through and then turned when it come up to where the shower door was. And then, cause the shower was this way. And then right here was where like the toilet was. And then you had the sink. I mean, these are little bitty rooms if you've never been in one before. And where it turned is where the toilet was. And then it just kind of walked through the wall.
Hmm.
And, but yeah, you that is pretty vulnerable time when you're in there. Joseph talks about the Cherokee had stories of the little people. Yes.
Yeah.
The moon-eyed people and all of that stuff. Yes, absolutely. That goes to your whispering and all that stuff.
So do you think these things are ghosts? Or there's a few theories out there that's pretty interesting.
There is. And Mike Ricksecker, again, go back to his book The Walk in the Shadows, and when we had him on, he has some pretty good theories on it, I think. And some of them even are, I mean, one of Jason's favorite topics, dimensional.
Oh yeah.
Also go into the a show we did, I don't know what, about a month or so ago, the talking about time phasing. So it's where maybe you're seeing glimpses of the future or the past.
That's what I started to say. Well, I was going to say the past.
Yeah.
Like where I'm at, I might be seeing the past owner of this house.
Right.
Just walk through the house.
I
mean, no ghost, no nothing about it. It's just, I'm just
it's
saying.
just a slip in time. And
you could be a time traveler.
Well, there's a lot of stories about stuff like that where people will be in a place and they'll look and see like people standing over here and they're like, you see that? And then they'll look and be like, do you see that? And it's almost the same, right? It's like they're seeing each other out of phase from their time that they're in, but they're occupying the same space, just not at the same time. Oh. And so they're realizing that they're thinking, wow, that's a ghost. And then the people they think is a ghost is looking at them going, you see that, thinking they're a ghost.
It's just like the new,
they made a movie about that.
Did they?
Flash movie.
The Flashpoint
Have you
Paradox?
seen it?
Yes.
So he goes through time and jumps into the past dimension.
Yeah.
To himself,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Could be that. There's another one that it could be somebody having an OBE.
I didn't think about
astral
that.
projection, anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think about that. Huh.
So you're saying the shadow person is the out of body experience from this other person?
Yeah.
Yeah. Walking around in the astral plane.
I must be interested then.
Yeah. They want to see you in the shower.
I ain't dropping a soap.
Do you ever shower with the lights off? No.
I put on the mood lighting.
Got the disco ball in the bathroom.
Oh, yeah. And the one David was talking about, the dimensional explanation, is they could be interdimensional beings.
Yes.
coming from higher dimensions
Mm-hmm.
that exist beyond our own dimension.
Right.
And
they're in that slip of time where I see it as a shadow. I mean, they're moving normal, but I see it as a fast shadow.
right.
I mean, if that's the I don't.
Right.
It could be a parallel dimension or, one close to us.
Yeah.
That,
You're getting to see a glimpse.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think it's could be it's a really fascinating topic when you really think about it, because I think a lot of people have these type of experiences. I think a lot of people though try to rationalize them as, oh well, I just thought I saw something, but I think a lot of people have these experiences, and they just don't like to talk about it for whatever reason. You can name probably a myriad of them, but they don't want to think that people think they're crazy, or we live in the South, and some people would think that you're demon possessed.
Devil worshippers.
Devil worshippers or something. I don't know. I mean, but the thing is that it is a phenomenon, and it is worldwide. It's worldwide. I mean,
from tribes in Africa.
yeah,
I mean, places that you wouldn't think would even. I've never seen a Hollywood movie. Let's put it that way.
right.
And then they come up with the same hag
Yeah,
as we have here, or the
right.
same hat man as we have here.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. And it shows that something has got to be going on. Something, for sure.
Mhm.
Or could it be different hags, different hat men, or is it the same one?
Colin says that, or they don't realize what they saw.
Hmm.
What was we talking about?
About seeing it and don't not realize what they.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it could be, right. It could be that they don't realize what they saw.
Science has good explanations.
Oh, let's hear what
You want
this
to hear
is.
a few?
Yeah.
Shadow people's appearance are nothing more but humans' imagination.
Yeah. That sounds like a
The
scientist.
mind tricks.
Now they're trying to say pareidolia, right?
Yeah.
So they're trying to say that, and look, it does happen. You'll see it all the time on Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook is full of pareidolia, right?
Right.
There'll be people with pictures of the woods, and then they'll zoom in on 5 pixels and say, "Look, it's a Bigfoot looking through this tree at you."
Right. Yeah.
No, that's pareidolia. There's no proof that that's a Bigfoot.
I have that when I take a shower on my shower curtain, on the walls. I see all kinds of little stuff.
Yeah. Well, and in science knows that the human mind tries to make sense of nothing, right? Like if it's just random stuff, it tries to make sense of it, and that's how you see dogs in the clouds and people's faces in the clouds and stuff like that. It's all pareidolia.
I promise you, I seen Albert Einstein in the clouds one day. I swear it looked just like him.
Now, if it would have been Albert Einstein and then right next to it, it said E equals MC squared, I'd be like, dang, man. What does Joseph say?
He says, are events recorded by our surroundings? We live in a sphere with neutrons and electrons and atoms, electricity. Why couldn't it record events and play it back randomly? That could explain shadow people.
Yeah, well, I mean,
That's like residual.
that's like a residual haunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you go to a place and it has residual hauntings and stuff like that. And that's what I was talking about with seeing the person in my shower. That could be residual because it wasn't trying to interact with me or acting like it even saw me there. It just was doing a motion.
It was what you're trying to say. It was probably somebody at one point in time walked in there and did what you said it did.
Yeah.
It walked in there, it went so far, turned and did this right here.
Yep.
And then
And it could have been set up differently too. So where it walked in and went through was something completely different. Yeah.
Then maybe he's seen you taking a shower in there, and it's like, well, hey, this is like
Yeah.
what's this? You know?
Yeah. He's like, wait a second. I didn't come here to see this. No.
I can say, no, I don't look at pareidolia because I can sit there and be watching TV, and out of the corner of my eye, I see something.
Right.
So I'm not looking for it; it's there.
Well, and that's what shadow peoples do. A lot of the pareidolia is where you'll see like, you'll be doing something and you'll look at wood grain,
Right.
and then you'll see faces in it or different things. That's that's pareidolia. Um, and so I just think that, you know, that Colin's laughing. Must be that, it was like, I don't want to see that. But yeah, I think that there's some things that are pareidolia. And but I don't think that, to me, I don't think that shadow figures fall in that category because it moves. It stays just right out of the straight line of sight.
Right.
And stuff like that. Pareidolia is something you literally have to look at.
Squint
to
your
see.
eyes, then back up. And
Yeah,
look
you're like,
again.
that looks like
And you're looking at
that's
it
a
straight on.
dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of mountains like out west that look like human faces.
Right.
Well, have you seen that one? They call
The
it
one here
Sass-
in Tennessee. It's not that far away. Every time it snows, it's a Native American face.
I've seen some. I don't know if I've seen that or not.
Yeah.
There's also one in Colorado or Wyoming or somewhere that it looks just like a Sasquatch. They had it on Facebook. I mean, it's called Sasquatch Mountain,
Huh.
but it looks like he's standing up.
That's kind of neat.
It's huge.
Huge. It's huge,
Huge.
man. Huge.
So, you want to tell us how to protect
from
the shadows?
How do we protect ourselves from the shadows?
I never consider it as anything to be scared of.
Well, and that's the thing, is that a lot of people want to put these negative connotations to these shadow beings, but most people's fears are just the fears of the unknown, and it's not these beings actually doing anything malevolent to them.
Like I said, I've seen them almost all my life,
Right.
and I mean, I don't consider them as evil.
Right. And so I don't know. I think this part of it is going to determine whether, how you think about these things, I guess, maybe. And if you've had an encounter and it scares the bejesus out of you. But it's important that when you see anything that's weird like this, that's abnormal, that's paranormal, right? Not normal. Don't let your fears control you. Don't just freak out and just, go running out in front of a car or something, try to keep your wits at you. A lot of people say that you can say prayers, say God's name and stuff like that, and these things will go away. Some people say that you can learn psychic defense to protect from evil spirits. We do, and right, they talk about cleansing your house to remove negative energies. We don't allow negative energies to build up in our house. We sage, at least a couple times a month. We sage the whole house. And outside the house, I sage the doors on the outside, the windows on the outside, to help protect from things from even being able to come in from the outside. And look, it's not something that lasts forever. Saging and things like that do not last forever. And did someone say? Oh, Colin's out. See you, Colin.
See you, Colin.
But I think that that's a good thing to do anyway, to just cleanse the house, because I could feel, without my wife telling me that she's saged the home, I could come in off the truck, walk through the door, and feel the weight of that week on me melt off when I walk through that door. Just completely melt off. And I'll tell her, I'll go, "You've saged this week, haven't you?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, I saged just a couple of days ago." And so I think that it's something that you could definitely see and feel. But again, I've got a little freaking gnat right here that's just bugging it. It's not a shadow, people. It's a gnat. You could also use crystals. A lot of people do use crystals. My wife has a lot of crystals, and but that could also do the same thing as sage and stuff like that. That could remove negative energies and all kinds of stuff like that. Be more positive. Just raise your vibration. You know, don't be a Debbie Downer all the time. You know, I think that you know, a lot of these things are just, I don't know, to me, just natural. You don't. There's certain things you want to try to keep out of your house anyway.
Oh yeah.
And negative stuff is one, you know, and
Yeah, don't mess with Ouija boards,
yeah,
Roger.
do not mess with the occult practices. Something like a Ouija board. And I said these are not something to play with. They require training, so avoid these if you're not trained to do so. Well, you know what? Roger and I did it. We weren't trained, and that was a pretty crazy experience. The Ouija board experience was a crazy experience.
You want to tell the story?
We could tell the story. I think it was a pretty. So I come over to Roger Bob's house one day, and this was many a moon ago.
Yeah.
I was a much younger man. So was Roger.
Yeah. Back when we used to have hair.
Yeah. And we was drinking and just having a good old time. And Roger's like, "Hey, I got a Ouija board. You want to play?" And I was like, "Hey, yeah, let's do it." So he breaks out the Ouija board. He sets the planchette out there. And it's really weird. If you've never messed with the Ouija board, I think it's a good tool. Oh, Joseph says that he finds a lot of quartz crystal around old native sites. Yeah.
So they used them in ceremonies.
Yeah, they thought a lot of stuff like that was pretty sacred. Um and but so when you put your hand on the planchette and then the other person puts their hands on the planchette, it's weird because you're not doing that. You barely even put your hands on it. I mean, barely even rest your hands on there. And for a little bit, it doesn't really do nothing. And then all of a sudden, the thing will start just kind of just moving. And after a while, it starts doing like these figure eights. Remember that, Roger? It
Yeah.
started doing these figure eights. And it got faster and faster and faster. So you started asking it questions. And this thing would start just, I mean, the more you did, the quicker it started moving. It was kind of crazy. And so we started talking with the spirit, and it was a woman. And she was talking some crazy stuff, like her husband was in hell. Do you remember all that stuff? Talking about her husband and all that stuff.
I just remember the tombstone.
Well, and that's the thing, right? So Roger and I was like, "Oh, okay. All right. So where are you at?" And she told us where she was at the end of Rogers Road. There's a cemetery. And she told us she was in the cemetery. She told us how to get to her gravestone.
There, me and Dave went walking.
We started walking down the road. We went down there, walked straight to her gravestone, walked straight back to Roger's house and put the game up.
David said, "I'm out of here.
I'm done. I'm going home for the night. I've had enough of this." Kind of like Jason at my house with the ghost.
Yeah.
See ya. It was pretty neat though.
But as I was saying, this I never considered it as an animal till Jason just said it. But from my couch, this animal will jump to the floor and disappear. And I called David, after a show one night and said, that's the same spot we had that Ouija board.
That could have opened something up though.
Yeah.
That we never closed.
but it's always going into
Roger's house is the new hell house.
The portal to hell.
They said that if the situations get worse, you could seek psychic help from a psychic. And now this I have heard. You could sprinkle salt around your beds, corners of the room, and stuff like that, and that'll help keep evil spirits and stuff like that away.
around your doors.
Yeah,
Doors,
yeah.
windows. Okay.
Thresholds.
Thresholds, yeah.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, I have heard, that, and that's an age old thing. That's not something that's new age or anything. That's been around for thousands of years. The salt circles
Yeah,
and
salt with a purifier back.
that's it. Yep,
Yeah.
sure was. Yep.
Like
So
the Spiderwick Chronicles, where they put the salt all around the house. You seen that?
Yeah.
no,
It's pretty good.
is it?
The trolls and all the magical beings can't cross it.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That will try to get you to come to them.
Yes.
So you can break. So if you step on the salt and break a little piece of it,
They get in.
They'll get in. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of like
But don't let them get the book.
the Winchesters, or what was that? The Supernatural. That happened to them
Yeah.
a bunch of times. They did salt and
Oh yeah, Supernatural. Yeah.
Supernatural with the Winchester.
Yeah, I forgot about that show.
Yeah. They did the salt thing a lot in that TV show too.
And then iron too.
Yes.
Always iron.
Well, and certain things are supposed to be like fairies, different things like that do have an aversion to iron and stuff. Supposedly, right? I don't know nothing about that, but hey, how you doing, Virgil from Manchester, England? What's up, bud? How you doing? Manchester, England. You have any stories?
Yeah, we're talking about shadow people.
Talking about shadow people, having some shadow people stories, and having a good time talking with Roger in the house. What's up, Raj?
Literally in the house tonight.
Literally.
Literally. Yeah. Woo.
Joseph says you fellers better be careful with those Ouija boards. It's a portal or an open door for some bad mojo.
We were young. And do you still have the Ouija board?
Probably do. I'm not sure.
That's pretty fascinating. But I think you're right, Joseph, with that, because I think that if you don't know what you're doing and you don't know how to properly open it and close it, which I do now know how to do, but I've never messed with one since Roger and I did. But do your homework, because it's like anything that you're going to do like that. You're going to open yourself up to talk to spirits or whatever it is. You definitely need to know what it is that you're doing, and so have some guidance. What's up, Virgil? We're doing pretty good, man. How about you? So, but yeah, I think, as far as stuff like this goes, I'm a believer. I not really seen a lot of shadow people. I don't know if I've really ever seen shadow people in my life. I've seen ghosts throughout my life. And I see them just like I'm looking at a regular person. I don't see through them. They're not half in, half out, or floating and no legs or anything. I mean, I see them just as a normal person. And so for me, maybe that's why I don't see shadow people. I don't know. But I've never had the shadow people experiences. But like I said, my wife's had a Hat Man experience. She woke up one morning and one was looming over her. But it was something weird with hers, because instead of having like the fedora hat or, one of those kind of hats, it was a baseball cap that this one had on. Baseball cap. Yeah. Getting into the 20th century now.
Yeah,
he ain't Indiana Jones in it no more.
date.
That's
now.
it.
I wonder if Freddy Krueger was a hat man. He wore a hat.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, he was
1,
pretty
2,
evil.
Freddy coming for you. Hey, Susan, how you doing?
Hi. Say hey, Roger Bob.
Hey.
Say, hey, Susan.
Only thing I'm doing is looking at Jason and David. I can't see the screen or anything.
Yeah, this doesn't have a chat box or nothing, does it?
Lower the screen, kind of minimize the screen a little bit.
You think they're here to communicate with us?
I don't know.
Click on that. Click again. Click again.
It might be our could be your shadow guides or your spirit guides. Roger, your spirit guide's a cat. Maybe.
Kitty?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pretty little kitty.
Kitty. I don't know. I don't know how to do that, Raj. I'm gonna have to
Joseph
figure that out.
says he's never seen a shadow person, but those things you see out in the corner of your eye sometimes makes you wonder.
Yes, and that is a type of shadow people. Those little black masses that you see out of the corner of your eyes.
Like I said, when I was a kid, I used to lay in bed and watch or look at something and see it move.
See them just
Yeah. I mean, like straight ahead, straight head on,
right. Yeah.
That's, when I got older, they are in the corner of my eye.
Yeah. And it's weird. Like some people will talk about being laying, like if they're laying in bed, especially, and say they just wake up, they'll see them almost like when they wake up and their eyes open up. Sometimes multiple of them lined up in front of them, almost just like they're sitting there just watching you. That'd be kind of creepy. I don't know.
They can't sleep.
That's it. They're a bunch of insomniacs.
Boy, I wish I could do that right
Man, that looks so fun. Can I sleep? I wonder if it's that bed. If he ever gets up, maybe I'm going to go lay in that bed.
That's it right there. They're waiting for you to get up.
That's it. They want you to get up so you go. They can lay down in the bed. They're like, dang it, man. As long as he's in that bed, I can't lay there.
Ooh, that's a warm spot right there.
That's it. I know where he's been laying all day. We've been doing good, Susan.
Well, got anything else on the shadow people?
I mean, like I said, one of our a really good show that we did with the shadow people was when we talked to Mike Ricksecker.
Yes.
And we talked about his book, A Walk in the Shadows. And I'll say, anybody that's really interested in this, definitely check out his book. I'm sure it's on Amazon and stuff like that. Mike Ricksecker's a really cool dude. He's been on our show 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really cool dude. And the book is phenomenal. I've read the book. The book is good. And I would say check it out. If you're interested in the phenomenon, he goes in some pretty deep dives in it and talks about the different possibilities that it could be, and has a bunch of stories from people in there too. And so definitely I would check it out. And hey, if you buy it, if there's a place to put a comment, just say, "We heard about you from Paranormal 411."
Yeah.
We like Mike Ricksecker. He's a really cool dude and everything. So I'm happy to be able to mention, some of his work because like I said, it's really good. So
So since I've been on a show, I need to write a book now.
now you need to write a book.
Everybody write
Roger.
Write a book.
We'll
Hey.
help you endorse it.
Speaking of books, we have a book.
We do. East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. Definitely read it. It's pretty cool.
Find it on Amazon. Take it to the bathroom with you.
Yeah. Ooh, look at that. Look, it popped up. But yeah, definitely East Tennessee Hauntings and Lore. Find it on Amazon. It's a really good little coffee table book.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Well,
so I guess this is the end of the show. Next week we'll also have a show. I know, don't faint or nothing, people. We're having more than one show in a week. Matter of fact, we've had them 3 weeks in a row now.
right.
So that's it. What's going on? We have entered the Twilight Zone.
That's strange, right there.
That is
2 shows in 1 week.
But remember, tonight at 10 p.m., you could also hear us on wdjyfm.com. Definitely check us out there. What is going to play this week? Do you know?
Our show we did last week.
Oh, okay. So if you missed our last week's show, hey, you'll get an hour of it.
Oh yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool. But definitely check it out. Remember, that's wdjyfm.com. You could also go to paranormal411.com. Right on the front page, there's a link to it. When you hit that link, it takes you straight to the online radio. And so, but that's 10 o'clock. They're going to play a show from 10 to 11. Then they play another one of our shows from 11 to 12. So, and if we get enough support from all of our listeners and stuff, they are wanting us to do live shows with them. So if everything happens out, then at some point this show will go live on the radio, live, instead of it being a recorded show on the radio. So, and then we definitely will be opening up phone lines and all that good fun stuff.
Oh yeah.
So just remember, you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube and Twitter. It's Paranormal 411. You can also find us at paranormal411.org. We're on all of your favorite podcast platforms. Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join them.
All right.
All right, everybody.
We'll see you next week.
Have a good night.
Say bye, Roger.
Bye, Roger. I'll see you guys.